Happened with Alex Doherty on Monday. You arrange for somebody to call in, and when you're talking about teenagers, this can happen as well. You give them the call up, and they're not there by their cell phone. Well, it happens sometimes, I suppose. But we're waiting for Jacob Hubbard, UH athlete, to join us here. If he does, great. If not, well, I'll be disappointed, I suppose. But anyway, the circumstance now comes out. Let's talk a little bit about some of the news that went around in baseball. Certainly big news for for Braves fans. Braves will be getting the All Star Game in 2021. Will Rob Manfred make them change the name? He made the Indians change the logo to the most boring thing and take away their entire identity and so on and so forth, and guys of political correctness. And that's what happened to old Chief Nakahoma. So, it bothers me a lot. I've always said this because this cleansing, first of all, the guys at the Beating Drum radio show, which if you're not following them on Facebook, go right ahead. They will tell you, look, there is a commercial movement behind this cleansing of the Indian or Native American imagery and names, defining hate or offense where it's meant to honor, and it is like they would compare, ethnic cleansing, that sort of thing. You're taking away the identity, the honor, and the identity of the history of so many of these areas. Now, I will say, how did the Braves get their name? By the way, this goes back to the days in Boston. Owner of the team was a member of Tammany Hall. In Tammany Hall, there was actually some sort of Indian head figure that was up on the wall or the ledge or whatever it was. Somehow, through that, it became the Braves. Yeah. And also, that's how the Washington Redskins, they originally were in Boston for a few years. They played at Braves Field. It was at the time thought of that the football team generally took on the baseball team's nickname. Steelers were originally called the Pirates. You can figure out New York Giants, or maybe it was a derivative. Oh, Detroit Tigers will be the Lions. Chicago Cubs will be the Bears. You get the idea. That was kind of the code of the day. And so, Boston Braves will be the Redskins. Hey, there's the Red Sox here, too. Now, is this truly meant to be? Yes, let's put the indigenous people down! I don't think so. I really don't. And I really have a problem with people finding hate where it doesn't exist, because then it goes, I know what you're thinking. And there's nothing more prejudiced than that. Nothing. So that's one of the reasons why I defend the imagery and the nicknames and so on and so forth. The All-Star Game. Hey, look, All-Star Game this year is in Cleveland. It has basically been said that, the Major League Baseball said, hey, Indians, you want the All-Star Game, you better change your logo. Now, they're still selling Chief Wahoo on T-shirts and things like that, although it's less prevalent. And, fans are showing up, and it's even sneaking in on, say, early in the year when the weather was cold. You'd see an Indians player, and he'd have Chief Wahoo on his turtleneck or something, his pullover or something. So, it's still kind of there. But it's been de-emphasized. So we'll see if after the All-Star Game, there was a poll taken by ESPN Cleveland, the radio show station, and 77% of the fans of the Indians wanted the logo back, and the attendance this year, All-Star Game year, 3 straight playoff appearances, favorite to win the division this year. You would therefore think season tickets are sold out the wazoo. Attendance is down 8,000 a game. I know the Indians are in second place, 10 games out, but still, when you have, tickets, attendance is basically pre-sales, season tickets, that sort of thing. You'll get, walk-up gates, we've all done it, but that's actually a smaller percentage. So, if a team wins the World Series and then slumps the next year after picked to finish first, they're generally going to draw well, especially since baseball now just counts tickets sold. They don't count fannies in the seats. thank goodness for that. There wouldn't have been 1,000 people at the Reds-Pirates game last night, or last afternoon, which was not only a day game, but it was delayed about 2 hours by rain. So, there you have it. Anyway, I mentioned all those things, the Braves getting the All Star Game. Now, the Braves did not play particularly well. They were swept in a 2-game series by the Nationals. Of course, we'll talk to Josh Brown tomorrow at 1:30. But anyway, the Braves fell to the Nats. I think the final was 14-4. Do we have the highlights here? Yeah, anyway. It was not pretty. I've been getting on Kurt Suzuki. I mean, come on. Dude, used to play catcher for the Braves just last year. What you doing here?
Ball through the middle. Swanson to the shift. Can't get there. Into right center. A base hit. Soto around third. He'll come in to score. And over to third on the play goes Matt Adams. So a ground ball up the middle. Gets through with the overshift. Albies could not get back to the right side of the infield. I had said earlier Swanson, but it was Albies. They had overshifted 3 men to the left side against Suzuki. He drives in his 19th run of the year and the 3rd run of this inning. Runners on first and third again with 2 out here in the top of the first. It's the Nationals 3 and the Braves nothing.
There was Don Sutton used to broadcast for the Nationals too. There's a broadcaster who liked to hear himself talk. Anyway, that Suzuki had second RBI in as many days, and that one, makes it 3-0 early on, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
3-2 pitch, hit toward left center field. Acuna going back, still going back. Acuna, and they look up, and it's gone! Juan Soto driving it to the opposite field, and the ball continues to carry here tonight at SunTrust Park. And Juan Soto continues his torrid streak here for the Nationals, and they lead it by a score of 9-0. Juan Soto with his 9th home run of the season.
Now you want to get really gory?
And the pitch swung on line to right center field. That's going to be a base hit and split the outfielders all the way to the right center field wall. Turner has scored. Eaton has scored. Rounding third, Soto. He'll score standing without a play on a bases-clearing 3-run double for Howie Kendrick. Nick Markakis playing it back in. Howie Kendrick does it again.
The final again was 14-4, so a very disappointing 2-game set at home against the Nationals, who themselves came in as the 4th-place team, not really doing all that much. And so the Braves don't have the opportunity to move up in the standings in either the wild card or the National League Eastern Division against the Fightin' Phils, who we'll be talking a little bit about later on with what's going to happen to Abdubel Herrera. And really, it's nice that there's things that might happen to Abdubel Herrera. Anyway, Braves now 3.5 out of first place following the loss. 30-26 is their overall record. Came at a time they pulled within 1.5 of the Phils, but the Phils just took their last 2 games. So, yeah, Atlanta, the Bravos, will now be heading, let's see here, on the road. How do I get this here? They will be taking on, they will not be on the road. They will be taking on Daniel Norris and the Detroit Tigers this week, and SunTrust Park, and then they host the Pirates. So, Pirates, actually, they evened their series with the Redlegs. They won 7-2 last night. And let's see if I got any highlights of that. Actually, it was last afternoon. So the Redlegs are now 4 under 500. And anyway, we do not. Do we have the highlights from it? We do not have the highlights. Okay, so we got the Derek Dietrich hitting 3 home runs the day before, which was big. But yeah, 7-2. The Pirates defeat the Reds last night. Bucks are 500, and although their fans don't believe they're contenders, you should read what I read on social media, folks. This is a flash in the pan and all that. It's getting somewhat distressing and such if you're a Pirates fan. But the Bucks are only 4 games out of first place. I mean, think about that. 1.5 game less than the Braves are. 4 out, 3.5 out. And 2 back of the wild card, which, well, they trail the Braves for that. So that could be an intriguing series right there. Of course, Josh Bell having a monster year for the Pirates, and he is on a pace to hit approximately 50 home runs this year. That's one of the new up-and-coming stars. I'll give you more baseball, and I'll also talk about, yes, the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup! Blues win a game.
Neighborhood Ford. It's where you'll find